thank you guys for showing up tonight. There's a lot of places you could be. So we always know that when we see you guys, we know that, man, these people are hungry and we plan on bringing it every single week. So as Amanda said, my name is Danette Goodyear. Been with Young Living going on 19 years in January, which I can't even believe, since I started when I was 3. So that is, yeah. So we love Young Living for all the reasons, right? Can I not say that? And I want to be sure that you guys tonight and every Monday night grow in your knowledge and your love and your appreciation in your belief, right? Because I'm here to tell you after all these years that these are the products that we keep in our home and not just keep for emergency, but use on the daily, like all the things, right? All the makeup, all the shampoo, all the antioxidants, all the supplements, all the things so that we can be as healthy as possible in our world that is getting less healthy as possible, right? So tonight we are going to talk about preparedness, prepping. I'm not a prepper, but maybe I should be someday. Maybe someone can come in and organize my home that way. But preparedness itself is a lifestyle, right? It's not an event. So what we're going to we talk about things in our toolbox, right? What do we have in our healthy toolbox to help us, right? And tonight we're going to talk about being prepared, what I call my actual toolbox, because it is, hang on, we're going to drop it. It's an actual toolbox, all right? So, and this thing, I don't even know how much it weighs. That's why I'm putting it on my shoulder. This is a Home Depot toolbox. This is my to-go, like if it all hits the fan, if my house is going up in flames, God forbid any of those happen, right? But floods coming in, all those things, I like to take everything and be prepared for everything possible. I do know that's not true though. So these sit in a 200-year-old Swedish cabinet by the door with our wedding photos and other oils and stuff that I use as storage. But like something happens, like that whole thing needs to get out the door and with us with our pets, you know what I'm saying? So, and my jewelry probably. So these things right here are what we're going to be talking about, right? And I know I just don't want to be without key things if unexpected things happen. So I'm going to teach you about some things that you can have, you probably already have, or that you can actually get maybe even for free this month and months going forward. So when we think about being prepared, right, I think about, if I think about kind of prepping, I could buy several 100 pounds of wheat, but if I don't know how to grind it or don't have a grinder, like I'm not sure how much I could be gnawing on wheat, hard wheat bud and get out of that, you know what I'm saying? So when, let's say, maybe this last year has taught some people that if you're only going out to eat, if you're only making TV dinners, but now nobody can bring food to you or TV dinners are not on the shelf, then, and you have to actually cook, like, got to learn how to do some of these things, right? They'll be in shock if that happens. So similarly, you will not want to begin using the oils in your essential oil survival kit, shall we say. Don't want to use them at that point for the first time, right? So on a daily basis, that is how we learn how to use things. So when something strikes, you can be confident in your ability to use the oils and get the results you're expecting, okay? So learn how to use things in your everyday life to increase your wellness, right, on the regular, and which in turn exactly teaches you how and what to use in an unexpected event, right? So be proactive, use readily available resources, right? So on this toolbox in my cabinet, I have a small guide that goes with me and a box of Ningxia Red packets, right? They come in a 30 packet box. So that sits on top of my thing. I do switch out the box probably annually of the Ningxia Red just to rotate things, right? I don't want that sitting there for 10 years, right? So I do rotate those things out. But that is also not just, this is not my backup stash of oils, right? I got plenty of those things, right? The ones I use daily that are certainly all over the house. And then in certain boxes, right? For the stash that I've built up over the last 18 plus years. So that my family has access to nature's medicine, right? So your stash will look different depending on the number of people you have in your home. And my friend and great diamond leader, Nicole Perez, she keeps in her cabinet 2 raindrop kits per person in her family. Okay. They have 5 kids, 2 adults, 7 people. That's 14 raindrop kits that she keeps on hand at all times, right? Yours might look different because you never know what life brings. 2020, natural disasters. And if we ever don't have access to, say, medical care, or we're stuck at home or anything like that, I want to be prepared as much as humanly possible, right? So when I hear people say, oh, I'll just overnight something if I need it. Let me begin this with saying, you can't use what you don't have, all right? Let me repeat that all together. You can't use what you don't have. And overnight doesn't mean the next morning. And often things, I don't know about you, but most of the things that happen in my home need immediate attention, not tomorrow. Okay, so this is not just an emergency type kit, but it is something that if we had to leave the house, because something was going on, then we could take this and be prepared for many, many different things, right? So if this last 1.5 years hasn't taught us to be prepared, I do not know what will. Whole world shutting down, people not allowed to go to work, all the things, right? Floods in Louisiana, right? No mail for weeks. Nobody could even get to homes. Or Snowmageddon here in Texas in February, right? Everything shut down, including electricity and mail and all the things. So if you think, oh, I'll get that, sometimes we can't get that. So be prepared. Now, you may actually have boxes in your home organized in different ways. You could organize them. I personally organize them by alphabetical order, and I separate mine, not here, but in my stashes, by singles and blends, because that's how my brain works. Other people I know put in different boxes, different family issues that you might have, right? Or support products. So I know some people have boxes that are like adrenal support, hormone support, lung support, right? So in those adrenals, like we'd have what? Nutmeg, oh, free. Black pepper, maybe Endoflex for sure, not maybe, for sure. Maybe in the hormone, depending on what you have going on in your home, Progestins Plus, Clary Sage, Sclerescence, Idaho Blue Spruce, Geranium. Geranium does a host of things. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Lungs, always have a lot of lung things because there's a lot of lung things out there, right? So we always need good respiratory oils. So RC, Breathe Again, Raven, Dorado Azul, right? Grief is attracted to the lungs and holds on to the lungs. So we want to be able to help ourselves emotionally as well. So things go out of stock, as you know, because natural things that are not made in the lab, growing seasons, all the things change. So we want to make sure if there's something that you use for your family, make sure you have, I don't know, I try to make sure that I have 5 to 10 at least of something that I gotta have in my life for my own wellness, right? So things go out of stock in nature, right? If you are with a company or you said from a company that never have natural products go out of stock, there's a problem there. And that's our seed to seal, if you don't know that, right? So stocking up on products is wise. Make it work for your budget. Have a wish list, add one new thing on each month. Use your subscribe to save loyalty points. That's how I probably got surely all of this stuff at some point, whether it was a gift with purchase that was free for that month, or whether that was on my loyalty points, with my loyalty points. So free. Okay. So I have also multiple raindrop kits, Golden Touch 1 kits, and oils of ancient scripture kits, because those are key in my personal stash. So we got this big old toolbox, got it called the bug out toolbox maybe. And so to begin your stash, I'd probably begin with maybe raindrop oil kit, right? Because there's 10 oils in there. Thieves, of course, can't have too much thieves. Clove, frankincense, lavender, geranium or helichrysum or cistus, or even cypress. Those would be my top picks. Like if you are saying, where do I begin? Those would be the ones I would be like, yeah, you got to have these right here. All right. So I'm going to move a few things around and we're going to dig into my big old Home Depot box. This is not a Home Depot commercial. I was just looking for something that could take the weight, right? That was heavy duty. And that could be a good protector for these oils. So this is what the top of this looks like, right? So it has top stuff. I guess you'd normally put like nails and stuff in here. Yeah, oils. So let's go through these. I know it's going to be kind of fast going through these, but because there's a lot in here for a host of different reasons. Okay. So first off, in these trays, I have Thieves mouthwash. Why? It says colloidal silver in it. You can pour it on things. You can swish your mouth. Even if you couldn't brush your teeth or something like that, swishing this, and as Gary taught, personally, I swallow it because there's so many good things in there, right? Swish and swallow, that you can do a host of good things with your mouthwash, right? You can also dilute it because it's hugely concentrated, which I love about our products. The other thing is, and I keep it in a Ziploc bag even, Dentarome Plus. And I do change this out every couple of years probably. And this toothpaste is what I've used for, let's see, this last April, it was 18. So 18 and a half years as my underarm deodorant pit paste. Okay. The best deodorant we have, by the way. And it's a toothpaste. So I travel with this and it does both things. You know what I'm saying? So easy peasy. So I definitely want to have this. You can also use it as, going a little off label here, as a poultice, right? So if something happens, you can actually put it on top and it will stay there for a bit. It has baking soda in it, helps draw things out that way when you use it that way. I also have a couple of the tins of our Nature's Ultra, our muscle rub, okay? Because these are nice, little, convenient, can stash anywhere. All right, let's go through these oils. Now, you could do, maybe you got, maybe you hadn't tried them and they were free a couple months ago, August, I think, with the beautiful Kid Sense oils, right? They're already diluted, easy to go. So that might be something that you have in your toolbox. I mean, they even tell you how to use them. Snifflies, owie, right? So that's nice and easy that way. But let's go through these. Alphabetical-ish, because they kind of move around and I kind of move things around. Aromaseas, because Aromaseas is amazing for any bumps and bruises, that kind of a thing. You pull something, it has basil oil in there, which is amazing for muscles, think seizing. Okay, so this is one of the great ones that we use a lot in our house. In fact, usually with a roller bottle on the top, roller top. So that has to go in here. Breathe Again. Why? Because we talked about, gotta have the lung things, right? This has so many different oils in it. This is one that we could buy specially. Normally this comes in a roll-on, right? So this just happens to be one of the ones we were able to purchase in one of our other catalogs. Aroma Ease. All right. So maybe you get a little car sick or somebody does in your home, any kind of movement type things. Maybe you're going through things and can get nauseous for whatever's going on. Aroma Ease is a must. So I always have that. 2 bottles of Copaiba. And that is because it is an amazing amplifier of other oils, and it helps produce healthy inflammatory properties, right? So we put that topically, so it's fantastic. Always want to have this one. Also comes in a Vitality bottle, right? Same oil inside, different label. So great to have under the tongue in your Vitality label so that you can have those properties internally as well. Clove. Oh yeah, it's free this month. Clove, traditionally used for numbing. I was putting it on last night because I literally walked out to turn the water off in, I don't know, 3 minutes and came in with like 7 mosquito bites. What is that? What is going on? So clove oil is what I put on those when they are itchy and all the things. So you can do a lot with clove oil. Traditionally, this comes in a Vitality label too. So traditionally, people do it very diluted, by the way, and use it like for teeth issues, right? So babies, teething, all the things, very diluted. But clove, got to be in there. It's one of the key ingredients in Panaway, right? So that should tell us something as well. All right, got a lot of while you've been here. Cistus. Cistus, our beautiful oil that comes from Spain. And it is nice and sticky and so helpful for any type thing that you might need to help close up. Yeah, so anything that I want to help with circulation in the area, I want to make sure I have a cistus, a helichrysum, a geranium, a cypress, any of those 4. And in mine, all 4, because you don't quite know what's going to come up, right? So love to always have a cistus there. Yeah. Cypress oil, circulation support. Never know when you need good circulation support. In fact, when I fly, right, you're going up against gravity, and in the altitude, I actually use tangerine, which I also have in here. I use these 2 together and I rub them up my legs. Very helpful for that. But maybe you're going to have to be sitting too long or something like that, and you need some extra support that way. That is very helpful. Or in a stressful situation, maybe, you know, blood pressure goes up, that kind of a thing. You're going to just need extra support to help your body deal with what's going on. Okay, Egyptian gold. Love Egyptian gold. I have 2 bottles of this in here because it has all the oils. I mean, if it's good enough to be preserving mummies with many of these oils for 4,000 years, I think it's pretty good for a lot of things we're going to need. I really love that it has myrrh in there, frankincense. So anything I'm going to need for those, I can grab that Egyptian gold right off the bat. Okay, what else? Oh yeah, Digize. This is such a gateway oil for so many people because why? It works like all of our oils, but Digize is amazing oil. And so I keep capsules in here as well, or actually I don't keep because the bottle's so big, I keep it on top, empty capsules, because Digize comes in a Vitality label as well. So you can take it internally. So I'll actually put it into capsules and pop that, right? Digestive support, never know when you don't need it. Yep, so 2 bottles of that, 2 bottles of EndoFlex. EndoFlex, endo for endocrine, flex being support. This is our amazing oil for the whole endocrine system, which is what? Thyroid, adrenals, pituitary, all the glands that control everything, okay? So this is very key. I actually put it on the back of my hand, which is my roller bottle, rub it over my neck, rub it like that, rub it together, rub it over my adrenals that sit on top of the kidneys, right? So in that place between your bottom of your rib cage and your hip bones, great place to rub that. Also comes in Vitality label, awesome, under the tongue, perfect. And very supportive for, what does the endocrine system also do? Helps, doesn't help support. It actually functions with all of our hormones, okay? So if our hormones are out of whack, our endocrine system is out of whack, and we need to support that. So want to make sure to have that. Eucalyptus blue. I love eucalyptus blue because, well, actually I love all the eucalyptus, but blue is one that has so many balancing properties in it. So even children that maybe the other ones tend to be a little too strong. Eucalyptus blue is the perfect balance and synergistic effect to help with the respiratory system. So a great one to diffuse or rub over the chest and the nose. Just, I mean, even if you're like, oh, I can't use that because we need it and I only have a 5 ml bottle, open that baby up and just pass it around and smell it, right? All right, Exodus 2, very similar, not in terms of ingredients, but in terms of all the great things that it can do.
Leave this alone.
Is Exodus 2 is one of our gems that Gary created years ago to help support the immune system. So I love to use it on the bottom of my feet. It has cassia oil in it. So it is phenomenal. I can't wait for this one to come back, but I always have it when it comes back in stock. I always stock up on it. All right, frankincense and sacred frankincense. I have 3 bottles of each. Gary's always, I mean, it was one of the Swiss Army knives, right? We got lavender, we got frankincense. Gary always said he doesn't want to be without frankincense ever. So I stock up on these oils. I use my loyalty points for them. And so I have 6 bottles of frankincense in here. It's I have a lot of different things in here, but 6 bottles of frankincense, 3 and 3 of frank and sacred frank, right? Because it can do so many things in supporting our body, immune system, any unexpected thing that might happen to us physically, as well as the emotional support in calming the body, helping the body deal with stress and extra emotions, right? So I like to put it on the top of my head for that, over the heart, however you like to use that. Frankincense also comes in a vitality oil. So under the tongue, great place. Geranium. Talked about this. This is one of the 4, cistus, helichrysum, geranium, cypress, that we want to keep on hand always. So, you know, any kind of thing that comes up that maybe goes deeper to your skin, you want to be able to have this. I love geranium too, because it is great support for the hormone system. So I love this product. I use a ton of geranium, so I always make sure that I have that, and it is in here for sure. Something else I use every single night and have for almost my entire, I take a little break every once in a while, and I'll usually switch at bedtime to maybe an Exodus 2 or maybe a Little Thieves, but MU Power, right? We have MU Pro that's free this month, right? Which is a chewable tablet, but MU Power is our oil that totally supports our immune system and is phenomenal for boosting that up. So I want to make sure that we have that on hand. Now, lavender and lemon, you're like, Danette, I've heard you talk about lavender and lemon, and 1 bottle of each is not enough of those. That's very true. And I'll show you why I only have 115 ml of this at the moment in here in a moment. But lavender, Swiss Army knife. You don't know what to use lavender, but only Young Living lavender, right? Anything we're talking about here, I want to always make sure that we're talking about Young Living lavender. So if you go, oh, I need to have lavender in mine, and I don't, you know, I get my Young Living stuff for another month, I'll just go out and get it. Not the same. You cannot expect any kind of the same results, much less I can't tell you what that other brand is going to do to you, right? Because nobody else has a seed to seal commitment, right? So I don't know how they distilled it, what they put in it, what they put on the plants that then gets distilled into your oil, or how they actually dilute it, which is also called, when they do that in the bottle, adulteration. All right. So make sure that you have lavender, Young Living lavender, always with you. I always carry that one with me as well. Lemon in your water. Lemon does such a great job. This is why we don't put in plastic or styrofoam, right? Because it breaks down chemicals, which is not good when you're trying to drink out of something plastic, but that's why we always have glass or stainless steel to put our citrus oils in, right? So lemon oil, great for dissolving plastics and things that we ingest through plastic bottles and so many things. It's in our water sources, everything, right? So we always want to make sure that we are ingesting, especially lemon oil, but all of our citrus oils. Now, when we're talking about a kit like this, we want to make sure that we are rotating out our citrus oils. Our citrus oils are cold pressed, right? When you zest a lemon, you zest an orange, the essential oil is actually in the rind itself, right? Actually, not the whole rind, just the zest, the colored part of the skin. So because it's not steam distilled, we have 7-ish years, 7 to 10 maybe years in terms of its lifespan. All of these other oils, take frankincense, by the way, let's take that for example. Frankincense was found in King Tut's tomb 4,000 years later when that was opened in the 20s. And it was still viable. Hello, amazing, right? So let's just say that this could be in here till I'm dead and gone, and someone could use it and be thrilled with the results. Okay, but when we're talking with steam distilled, all good in here. So all of these can be on the shelf forever and still be useful, but citrus oils, not so much. Okay, because you do need to turn those over. So I do rotate these out. The other thing is, I said all of them, but here's my caveat on that too, is that oils that have a carrier oil, let's say like Valor oil has a carrier, right? So whether that's a fractionated coconut or an almond oil, the essential oils themselves help guard against the degradation of that fatty carrier oil in there, but it will still degrade because of that, usually like nut oil or the coconut oil that is in there. Okay, so those also need to be rotated. I try to do that every, I don't know, 5-ish years when I think about it. Yeah, okay. Okay, does that help explain some things like what to be moving things around? Let's go on to lemongrass. Lemongrass is one of my favorite ones, especially on my knees, elbows, any kind of things that tennis is hard on, like joints, because it is super helpful for what? All of our joint issues, right? We always want to make sure we have some lemongrass for our joints. So very helpful for that. I actually really love the smell too. So I diffuse a lot of it. Actually use it on my dryer balls. It's one of my faves. All right, helichrysum. Gotta have the helichrysum, right? So good for our blood. So we want to make sure that we always keep a bottle of helichrysum, right? So if you guys are like, well, what's it good for the blood? Go read about it in different reference guides and see why you've got to have that, right? You can also look things up on pubmed.gov or scholar.google.com. I do not send people to Google. I don't use Google myself, but the scholar.google.com is also where you can find great research that is done, right? Peer-reviewed research. All right. 2 bottles of what? Longevity. Longevity. This is one of my favorite oils that I used to take every day in a capsule. And when that comes back, I'm going to be super fired up, but I make my own capsules now because this comes in a vitality label too. 4 ingredients in here: orange, frankincense, thyme, and clove. Powerhouse to support your immune system on the daily. Okay, so make sure you have, and you heard all those, and 2 of those are hot oils, right? Clove and thyme. So if you put it topically, you may need a carrier oil. That carrier oil's in here too. But longevity, just to make sure, right? Because thyme oil and orange are both very protective oils. They help support the body in glutathione production. So glutathione is our huge antioxidant, very key, especially like this last year and a half, key, like necessary for glutathione levels to be at least at a good level, much less high, to help protect us against all the things going on, right? And can be a predictor of how things can go when we're exposed to different things. So I highly recommend that you get and use your longevity. All right. Okay. So you use that one on the bottom of the feet like I do the Immune Power as well. All right. Also have the Gift. And you're like, that's kind of a weird one. Well, it is great. It's a emotional supporting one, but it has so many great oils, kind of similar to Egyptian gold, that if I don't even think I have a myrrh in here. I used to, but you know, the tops like get glued on there. So I want, if I need myrrh, I will have blends that have myrrh in them, right? So if you're like, oh, I don't have wintergreen, but I have Panaway, or I don't have clove, but I have Panaway, or I don't have peppermint, but I have Panaway, right? This is the beauty of our blends as well, that if you don't have one, possibly a single oil of it, you can use the blend. All right. So the Gift, love the Gift. Laurus nobilis, I love Laurus nobilis. That is bay leaf. If that sounds like, what is that? That's the genus species name for bay leaf. Very helpful. Actually mix it with a little rose ointment or animal sense ointment, and I'll swab my nose with this the last year and a half. So I love this oil for all the immune supporting properties of it. And oh, it's in a vitality. You know what I'm saying, right? Laurus nobilis. Okay, Melrose. I have 2 big bottles of Melrose oil. Gary talked about this years ago when the big reactor in Japan went off and we had all the things, radiation, right? And I think about radiation from our phones all the time, all the Wi-Fi going on, all the things. So I love to diffuse Melrose, and a great one to put on topically. It says multiple tea tree oils in it, as well as clove oil. Great, yeah. So great topically as well. So if something happens and you need a good topical kind of cleanser oil, Melrose or Purification, great ones for that. 2 bottles of myrtle. Love myrtle, great lung supporter. So great one to diffuse, put topically over your lungs, but it does not have like strong properties. So if, so babies can use it. So some of these things, I don't have babies, but I do have pets, and all those pets are getting thrown in the car if we got to go somewhere too. So I want to be able to have one that is less, shall we say, kind of astringent for the lungs, and myrtle is the one for that. And you'll find myrtle in things like Purification, which are great. Bottle of orange, what we just talked about with longevity, that it is a great supporter for glutathione in the body. So a huge antioxidant that we have to have for all the things, okay? So Dr. Purser taught us to use this 8 drops. I always use the back of my hand. Then it's not on my fingers, right? So if I rub my eyes, I can't wash them or something like that, then I'm not rubbing my eyes, and you know, you only do that once after you, while you're doing a raindrop, you know, you nose or an eye or something like that, just once. All right. So orange oil, gotta have it. Plus delicious to drink, of course. So nutmeg, oh yeah, free this month. Nutmeg, this is a vitality oil. We love to cook with it, all the things, but we talked about how great it was for an endoflex. So great for the endocrine system. So if whenever you're in, you know, kind of a panicky situation or any kind of emergency type situation, we always need to help balance our body and our adrenal glands, because our adrenal glands are in flight and fight mode, right? So if we're actually having to flee our house, right, just to go box and either going to help someone or our own family, we want to make sure that we can support our adrenal glands from the fight or flight. Okay, so yes on that. Now, I have 2 oreganos in here. I have our regular oregano from Turkey, and I have our Ecuadorian oregano. And that is because when you're doing a raindrop or something like that, the Ecuadorian oregano has a much lower carvacrol level, and that specific constituent is much less hot on the skin, okay? So if you're needing something that is a little less caustic, maybe you're V6 or you don't have olive oil or something like that, but you really want to use oregano, I would use the Ecuadorian oregano that way. It has its own properties as well, but very similar supporting of the body. All right, we're getting to the peas. We're getting down there. Patchouli. I have 2 bottles of patchouli, right? Oh yeah, free this month. See how nicely that works? Young Living is always taking care of us. Patchouli is an oil that is super good supporting for the skin. I must have taken it out when I didn't have it somewhere else. I also have palmarosa in here. So patchouli and palmarosa are great skin supporting oils when we need to really help support the skin in terms of major need. All right. So I like actually our palmarosa. I put one of the little spray bottle tops on the top of the 15 ml bottle that I just get on Amazon, like 10 pack, little bitty spray, because there's also times that you need to get oil on something and it's hard to keep it on there, but a spray can get it where it needs to go instead of like touching it, you know what I'm saying? So I love to be able to put a spray bottle on these too. Now I've also used patchouli when I've had maybe oregano somewhere or a hot oil somewhere and I don't have major access to a carrier oil. Patchouli works similarly in terms of muting things that might be hot to the skin. So that's a beautiful way to use that as well. It's also very grounding. I have 2 bottles of peppermint. You can see all the different labels I have. 2 bottles of peppermint because what? It's the driver. So when you layer this on top of other oils, it drives it in. Love that. But it is fantastic. Whether you are needing an extra boost for alertness, if you are needing some cooling when it's super hot, so good on the skin. Of course, it comes in a vitality label as well. So drop of that in your water, anything like that to help cool the body. Also very supportive for the digestive system, okay? Peace and calming. I have a small one of these because I tend to use other ones more so. You might need 5 bottles of Peace and Calming in yours, depending on how you use that. But it has many citrus oils in it, as well as patchouli. All right. And of course, blue tansy, that's why it's blue. But make sure, I like to have emotional ones in here too, specifically. But you'll see that I also, I forgot to say, I usually keep a feelings kit as well with my other kits that sit on top of my toolbox. So that way I have like a lot of those kits. All right. Trauma Live, things like that. Progestins Plus, because no woman should be without it, right? And so we want to make sure that we have Progestins Plus available to us at all times. Yes. Purification. I have 2 bottles of purification. I diffuse more purification than probably any other oil. I love the smell of it. And hotel rooms, all the things, always have purification going. So that's why I have 2 bottles. Also good for any skin accidents or anything like that you need purification from. See how that works? See how Gary named these things? So you'd be like, oh, I think I can figure out what that means. Okay, RC. I love RC. It is one of our great oils for respiratory congestion, for any type of lung things. I love to diffuse this topically, bottom of the feet, main. When you like point your foot, you have this big area right here, right? That's your lung point. So I like to put it on the bottom of my feet as well. RC, 2 bottles. Sclerescence, again, supportive for women and hormones. So some of the things I don't use necessarily so much, but I want to keep things because you never quite know when things are going to change or who you're going to be with that needs also to have that support, right? So sclerescence in there. Tangerine, talked about this. Of course, a great one in the oil because it comes, or excuse me, in your water because it comes in a vitality label as well. But it is great to help support the lymphatic system, right? So in your water, that's great. This one I love to mix with cypress oil, and I draw from my feet up to my knees to help, like when I'm on a plane, anything like that where I'm having to sit a lot, and you can get a pooling of the lymph because our lymphatic system does not have smooth muscle to move things up towards the heart and out and to the liver and all the places it needs to go, unless you have muscles squeezing it to send it up against gravity. So this is called Tangerine, our anti-gravity oil. How about that? That'll preach. Okay. White Angelica. Oh yeah, 15 ml bottle of White Angelica, because we should be doing White Angelica every day, right? This one reminds me when I put it on, right? Gary taught us to put it on our shoulders, so it helps protect our etheric shield. So when I do that, it reminds me to pray over myself, like asking God to help me help others, but not to take on their stuff, right? That part is not my job. Yes, I'm there to help others, but I don't need to be taking on their stuff, right? Life is hard. We all have our own stuff. You don't need to be carrying everybody else's. So that's a great one to put on. Very high frequency oils in there. Negative emotions, germs, all those things have very low frequencies. So when we can up the frequency in the body has a better chance to be able to ward off those lower frequency things that can bring our bodies down. All right. Thieves, gotta have thieves. Again, one bottle of thieves, not enough. I'll tell you that in a minute. I do have a straight time oil as well. Even though I have it in the longevity, I always want to make sure, because it has such great properties for glutathione production as well. Rutavala also usually comes in a roll-on, but it is super for supporting the nervous system. So whether that is, more of an accident situation, or if that is on the emotional side, then we need to make sure that we can support our nervous system. Almost done. Ylang ylang I have in here. Why is that? Because stressful things can create stressful things in our body. And so I love this one on the wrist, on your carotid arteries, all the places that your circulatory system are shallow to the skin, right? So that way it can help in the calming process. And then 2 bottles of Valor, and that is because everybody needs valor and strength and courage for whatever is going on. Plus it helps support the structure of the body. So I like to put it along the arch of my foot, rub my feet together. My husband calls me the cricket on the side of the bed, because every night that always goes on, and during the day as well. All right, let's get down. Yeah, 15 minutes, we can do it. Okay, here we go. Okay. Thank you guys for taking notes and hanging with me. All right, so what else do I have in here? I have the Mighty Pro. Why? Because they actually, it's a sealed bag. This is our children's probiotic, right? But they are in sealed little packets, so they're not going bad. But again, this is one of those things that I rotate, every year or whatever. I'll just change out a bag that I have in here and use this. Adult dosage is 2 sticks for a, regular adult dose, but always a great one, and all sealed up right here. Other sealed up things, Thieves wipes. Can't go wrong with Thieves wipes. Must have, right? See, I love the packaging right here. Easy, kind of squishable in here. I have, it's one of our old, it's a battery. So I keep a battery in here, but also has a plug. So it's a diffuser. It's kind of a little more passive, but it is something in here that doesn't require water or anything, that you can have in your car or wherever you end up. Ads for that too. I keep 3 lip balms, because man, if my lips are chapped, like life stops. I don't know about you, but I'm like, hey man, I need some things on my lips. So I am always like that. But you can also, if you got something going on your skin, use that, either put an oil on and then use that as a covering, right? Or use this by itself. Fantastic way to do that. Speaking of that, I have a rose ointment in here as well that you could also use as a lip balm. But it is super helpful because you can add extra oils in it, but it has a bunch of oils already in it, okay? So you could use it to swab your nose, put it over something that's going on that maybe you even put other oils on as a protective A little force to that. Great to have that. Thieves, get back to thieves. You can see that this is an old packaging of thieves lozenges. Maybe I should change it out to a new bag. Maybe I should do that tonight. So I love thieves lozenges. I will even sleep with one under my tongue if I'm like really trying to kick something. But even if I'm thirsty, maybe don't have water, maybe you can't go to the bathroom, so you don't want to drink as much. Thieves lozenge under the tongue helps support the immune system as well as keeping your mouth moist with all the things, right? Also peppermint oil in there, so helpful for digestive support, okay? Big old bottle, new bottle of Thieves household cleaner, right? Because you might need all of this stuff, right? I mean, you can do your laundry with this. You can, wash your dogs with it. You do all the things. I keep some Band-Aids in here. I actually have a bottle of silver, like straight colloidal silver in here. Powder, sulfurzyme. Sorry, that's sulfurzyme powder instead of the capsules. Why? Because it's a smaller bottle and the other one won't fit in here. But it's also great to have. Why? Because it has Ningxia wolfberries in here. So great that you could put this with water, help with healthy inflammatory levels, as well as antioxidants with the Ningxia wolfberry powder. MU Pro, this is free this month too. How many things have we talked about that are free this month with gifts with purchase? Many. One great thing we love about this, it's chewable, very easy to eat. Kids can do it super easy, but it has melatonin in it. When our melatonin is low, our body cannot get into our deep restorative sleep. Our deep restorative sleep is where the immune system rebuilds itself, where organs get rid of things to be able to regenerate. And we have to be able to do that. When we're in a stressful situation, harder to sleep. MU Pro. All right. Now, you can't buy these. These are actually for professional line. Like if you were a professional the business and you needed extra thieves or like a hospital or something like that. And we normally can't buy these, but they had an auction for the foundation years ago. And if y'all know anything about me, you know I love our Young Living Foundation. And so I bought these. And so they are big, huge, what are they? 53 mils, 1.8 ounces of Thieves lavender and lemon. So these are in my thing here too. So that's why I only had one bottle of 15 mil of each. Now, I want to keep one of those bottles in there because I can refill it, right? And cart that around instead of carting around this big old incredible, lovely bottle. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have shown you that. Like, sorry, can't get that, but you get the point. Get some extra little bottles in, right? Inner defense, of course, got to have inner defense. You can even poke it with a pin or sip it with a scissors or something like that and get it out to have it for an animal or a child in something. But got to have inner defense with us always. 2 sprays I have in here, Clariderm and Lavaderm. Okay, very different. One has an oily carrier oil, fractionated coconut in it, but it has amazing skin oils in it, including Roman chamomile, lavender, tea tree, and frankincense, and helichrysum. Again, sometimes things happen that we don't want to actually touch, so you got to spray. Lavaderm, great. We're talking sunburns, maybe you get caught out somewhere, sunburn, all the things, but any kind of soothing, cooling relief, lavender for sure right there. All right, I got 2 enzymes in here. So I'm all about the enzymes. Gary taught us well on enzymes. I do a lot of teaching on enzymes. I have Essential Zymes 4 as well as Essential Zyme. And that is because, especially if we're maybe having to eat out or things we're not used to, we need extra support, or things that maybe need extra digesting power, right? So maybe they're not as clean as we're used to or something like that. So that's where our Digest Vitality and our Essential Zymes comes in hugely important, as well as when you take enzymes on an empty stomach, they help eat up inflammatory responses in the body, as opposed to just when you take them with food, they're helping digest the food, right? Okay, big old bottle of V6 oil, right? This is our carrier oil, just in case. And I should have a big old bottle of this, because I got what, oregano, thyme, all the things in there. I also have a bottle of regenolone. And this is an amazing lotion that you put on. I actually normally blend in it juniper and lemongrass in there to support the nervous system if you need some extra nerve support topically. All right, I have 4 bottles of the hand purifier in here, of course. I'm a huge user of Deep Relief. I may or may not have kissed Gary when he made this, because this changed my life when I had a herniated disc, and he came out with this during that same time, and it saved my bacon. So I have 4 bottles of Deep Relief in here. I also have 2 bottles of Thieves Roll-On, because you never know when you get into a situation you need to roll on. 2 Thieves sprays for all the Thieves reasons. I also have some homeopathics that I keep in here that I used to carry in my office for viral, bacterial, intestinal things here. Then last but not least, sleek tea. My friends, you're like, what, Danette, you're going to be jonesing for a cup of tea? Like, why do you have sleek tea in here? Well, frankincense powder, the first ingredient, okay? First ingredient right there. And, well, I say that. It's not the first ingredient. It's the tea that's the first ingredient. But it is a major component in here. And also has our Ecuadorian cacao, all very good. Now, we use these for our pets and ourselves alike if we have something going on with our eye or eyes. So we will steep it to be drinking all that goodness, right? And then take the tea bag and use it over our eyes. So it has a lot of goodness in these tea bags, and there's what, 25 tea bags in here. So this will give you some great support for a long time, and they can stay here for a good time, right? Now, and what I didn't talk about were things like Master Formula or Mighty Bites, right? So if your family, that's, got to make sure I have that. You can have those in another bag, you know what I'm saying? You're not limited to one toolbox. This is just what, like, grab and go gotta have. Maybe you need some cortisol, right? For stress type things. Probably good. I'm going to throw a bottle of super vitamin D in here. Maybe get to a place that you're not able to be in a lot of sun or something, and you need that extra immune support with our D3. Detoxzyme, I'm all about the enzymes. Maybe even multi-greens to make sure you're getting, sorry, it's so bright there. Multi-greens to make sure that you're getting great greenness. And what else is in there? Melissa oil. Very good for our immune system. So, whew, are you guys tired of listening? That was fast. And I want to make sure that you guys are using your things every single day, right? So when we're talking about, hey, you need to use this, hey, it's not for our benefit. You got to know how to use it, and you will get benefits from it, right? On the emotional side, on the physical side, and knowing that you're taking care of your body helps your wellness as well. So make sure that you are doing that. Make sure that, you don't leave oils on the table, shall we say, that when you are washing your hair and putting makeup on and eating your vitamin C, vitamin D, multivitamin, if you were just doing that, right? Cleaning your house, washing your clothes, washing your dishes, washing your pets, all the things. This should be a no-brainer to do for your family, to transfer by, stop buying stuff that is not supporting your body and your home or your hormones, and use your Young Living products. And you will get so many gifts with purchase to be able to build your own toolbox, your own stash, to make sure that you have what you need. Young Living gives us those, not just for our own use, but also to help, share with others, right? So you're like, I don't even know how I'd use that. Well, over in the Splash YL Lifestyle Facebook group, I tell you every single month how to use the different products. So no excuses there. Plus, you can always share them or have them as, someday I'm going to need that, because you never know when you don't need that. Thank you, friends, for being with us. And thank you, Jacob, for sharing soon.